What is going on, guys? So I'm sorry this video is just a tad bit late, but on Tuesday Apple had their annual September event. We saw several new products announced. Of course, this is the iPhone event, so let's go ahead and do a quick recap of what went down. So the first thing Apple started out with is their two new services. Now these aren't new, we heard about these earlier this year, but we finally got some more important details about them. So they started off first with the Apple Arcade, and then they went and talked about the Apple TV Plus. The two important things that we got about these two services is their release dates and their prices. So first off with Apple Arcade. Apple Arcade will be coming out September the 19th, and it will start at $4.99 per month. Now for me, I don't really think I'm going to be getting Apple Arcade. I don't see any games that really appeal to me. Apple did show off a few more at this event, but I still think it's for me. But who knows, it might sell well. Now the more important service here is the Apple TV Plus. So Apple TV Plus will be coming out November 1st. That's at least when the first shows will start to come out. There will of course be more added over time, but you will be able to watch the first shows on Apple TV Plus on November the 1st. And the big deal about that is this new streaming service is $4.99 per month as well. That is very competitively priced, and you know, it depends on how much content we're going to be getting in there, but for $4.99 a month, it could be very much worth it. Another wild thing is Apple is going to offer a whole year free of Apple TV Plus whenever you buy a new Apple device. So if you buy a new iPhone, Mac, iPad, you will get Apple TV Plus for 1 year completely free. So that's going to be very nice. I'll be very anxious to try it out and see if I like it, but that is a very awesome thing that Apple is doing, and I was very surprised. Now the next thing was the first product of the event, and that was the Apple Watch Series 5. So we went from the Series 4 to the Series 5, and you know, pretty much the theme with all the products that were announced is they weren't huge upgrades. The Series 5 reminds me of the transition between the Series 2 and the Series 3. The Series 5 has basically the exact same design as the Series 4, but there are a couple of differences. So the first thing, and really the big thing they kept talking about, is this new watch has an always-on display. So no longer will you have to do that awkward wrist flick to see what time it was, and everybody knows you're looking at your watch, and then they feel like you're trying to go somewhere. It's just terrible. So the display is always going to be on. They call it an always-on retina display, and basically what it does is it just lowers your refresh rate all the way down to 1 hertz, and it'll dim the display. So when you do look at your watch, it'll just get brighter, but the watch face will always be on. And they have tweaked some of the watch faces a little bit just to work better with this display. The second big thing about the Apple Watch Series 5 is you can now customize it any way you want to. They have a new thing called the Apple Watch Studio, which allows you to choose what size casing you want, what color casing you want, and what band you want, also what material casing. So, you could get pretty much whatever you want. If you wanted a silver casing that's a 44 millimeter with, a sport loop, you can get that. Just mix and match whatever you want. And I think they said there's over 1,000 different ways that you'll be able to customize your watch, which is pretty cool. It'll definitely save time instead of going to buy bands. Another thing is the watch now has a dedicated compass in it, so you'll have a new compass app if you get the Series 5, and third-party apps will also be able to take advantage of the compass. And also, this was a little leak that got out and it turned out to be true. There are now new Apple Watch editions, which are the highest quality premium watches you can get, and you can now get a casing in either titanium or ceramic, which is pretty wild. Also, the new Hermes watches get new bands, new faces, and you also have new faces and some new bands on the Nike Apple Watch as well. Gone is the Series 4. You can no longer get a Series 4, but you can now still get the Series 3 watch for a really attractive price of $199. So if you still want a Series 3, you can definitely pick it up. And that's pretty much it for the Apple Watch. Like I said, not a substantial update, but if you had an older watch like a Series 1, Series 2, I have a Series 2. I don't think I'm going to upgrade this year. I'm probably going to wait till next year and see what the Series 6 has to offer. But yeah, if you definitely have a Series 4, I do not see any reason to update whatsoever. Okay, so let's talk about the iPad. So they really kind of rushed through this new iPad. Probably because there's not much to talk about at all. So, replacing the iPad 6th generation is a brand new iPad 7th generation. Now the big deal here is this thing is now basically a cheap iPad Air. So they increase the screen size and a better display. You basically have the iPad Air quality of the display, but it's slightly smaller. So the display on the iPad went from 9.7 inches to 10.2 inches. Also, they've added the Smart Connector, so you can now connect the Apple Smart Keyboard to the base iPad. And of course, this thing already had Apple Pencil support on the last generation, so that's not new. It has the same A10 Fusion chip that the 6th generation had, so no performance bump. It would have been nice to see them, maybe bump it up to like an A11. All the other iPads have the A12, but the A10, it's not a terrible chip, but it is kind of an older chip, but it's still enough to run the new iPad OS, so I guess that's all you need, right? And that's basically it for the new iPad. It will be available on the 30th of September, and that is when iPad OS also comes out. Now, I am seriously considering picking up this new iPad. It has a very great price, same as the iPad 6th generation. For $329, you can get it in 32 gigs or 128 gigs. And of course, you get it in Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi and cellular. I'm seriously thinking about picking it up because it would be replacing my old iPad Mini 2. And my iPad Mini 2 is officially unsupported. It is not going to get the latest iPad OS. And I've always wanted to try to use an iPad for school, so I'm really considering picking this one up. I can get the Apple Education discount, and then I can also trade in my iPad Mini. So I could probably get this thing for, I don't know, $250 maybe a little bit less than that. So I'm thinking about that, but I'm most likely going to pick up this new iPad. Also, I forgot to mention the Apple Watch. It comes out the 20th. I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not. And it starts at the same price as the Series 4 did. Alright, let's talk about the main star of the show. The whole reason why we have these September events is to launch the brand new iPhones. So we have the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pro. And then there's also an iPhone 11 Pro Max. Say that 5 times fast. Gone is the XS and the XS Max. They kept the XR and they kept the iPhone 8, which I can't believe they still have that. The iPhone XR, by the way, went down to $599, which is a lot better than the $729 that it was. Also, the wild thing is the new iPhone 11 is only $699. Pre-orders, by the way, start on Friday the 13th, and the phone is going to be available the 20th. But let's talk about this phone. So the iPhone 11, design-wise, literally nothing is different except the back. And the back now features some very large cameras. Now the iPhone 11 still uses a dual camera setup, but the iPhone 11 Pro gets a very interesting looking triple camera setup, and we'll talk about it here in a moment. So the top camera on the iPhone 11 is a 12 megapixel wide lens, and then the bottom one is a new ultra wide lens. And it looks pretty wild. One of the demonstrations they had going up on the stage, it was pretty neat. So you can just imagine what you can do with videos and photos with these new lenses. It was pretty wild to see. You know, they showed a movie that they actually shot on the iPhone completely. They showed pictures. They gave it to like professional photographers. It was really wild. But you're going to be able to capture so much with these new ultra wide lenses. And of course, the main focus of this iPhone really is the camera. They improved like the toughness a little bit of it, and also the water resistant. But that's it. It's basically the same design as the XR. You do get the A13 Bionic chip in this new phone though. So the iPhone 11 Pro, let's talk about that real quick. So on the Pro, you have the triple camera system on the back. Now, to me, I don't know if I like this. I'm gonna have to see it in person. It just looks pretty crazy back there to me. So you have the same two lenses that you do on the iPhone 11, but they add in the telephoto lens on the Pro. But yeah, if you really don't care about an amazing camera system, then I don't think there's any need to upgrade with these phones either. But it is truly incredible to see what they can do now with these new camera systems. I'll be anxious to try one out. I'm not getting the phone, but I'll try one out somehow. And that was pretty much it for the event. There were some things people thought were going to be announced that weren't announced. There was also no one more thing. That's something that they thought they had pretty much confirmed. I expect we will see a October event just for Macs, because not one time did they mention the word Mac in this event. They didn't even talk about the new OS. They didn't talk about Mac. I figured for sure they would have, at least talk about it just a tad bit about something. But yeah, I highly think we will see an October event. So be on the lookout for that. Anyways guys, I just want to make this video, giving you a quick recap of the event. I'm going to have a few more videos coming out talking about these products more in depth. And then I'm probably going to get that new iPad. So if I do, you will see a ton of new videos on that as well. But anyways guys, that's all I got for you today. What is your favorite thing that was announced at this new Apple event? Alright guys, I will catch you all in the next video.